Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw tips and tricks. Somebody sent me this really rough PDF and they want to engrave it on a water bottle. And I did it pretty quick. I didn't take a lot of time, and I would clean it up a little bit more, but this would work. So all I did, and you can see got bounding boxes, so it's got most likely a white background to it. We're going to go yellow box, object, order, back of page. And yes, you can see the white bounding box. Now it is real little, so we don't have to reduce it. It's only 2.2 inches. I'm going to change my nudge factor to 3. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to go to Trace Bitmap, Outline Trace Clip Art, which I use 99% of the time. It's already done it. Nudge the new one over and tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get these off that edge of that page. And you can see we're not really worried about if there's any white background left. And it is, but we're not going to use it anyway or use that part. So here's kind of the way I would do it. Go up to Object and ungroup it. And then take that black and nudge it over. Take that black and nudge it over. Take that L and nudge it over, that J and that M. I'm not really worried about that piece right there. Now, we don't want to move it. Just keep in mind, don't move it, nudge it. So now I'm going to left click, right click. I'm for just a second going to nudge the text out of the way. The text needs some work, but we need to work on the 5 first. I'm actually going to take that away and just kind of go by eyesight. I'm going to get the 3-point curve line and I'm going to go from there to there, and then I'm going to kind of mimic the shape that I think the 5 should be. I'm going to go from there to there, and I'm going to try to mimic that and see you can move any way, which way you want. Now we're going to take the virtual segment delete key and delete that line. Now what I would do is take the Smart Fill tool, set on any color, fill it in. Let's move it over twice. And let's left click, right click. We have a little bit of rough right there. And if we take the shape tool and when you delete it, watch, nothing really changed. Let's take away this. Nothing really changed. That changed quite a bit, so don't do that. Then you could bring that handle in and you could fix this. I don't know in the original, the original picture is kind of blurry, and I think the 5 is back there anyway. But I would go ahead and click on this, and I'm actually working on that's the wrong one. You want to work on one that's solid. Click on it, add a node right there, and kind of bring it down, and maybe you do delete that node and delete that node. Just kind of, I moved that myself, so I'm going to move it back. That looks pretty good. I'm going to delete that and see if anything happens. Nothing happens, and nothing happens. Yeah, it's a little bit bowed in, so what we could do is select both those and right click and turn them into a line. Now we got our 5 done. We need to work on the M, and I'm not going to take a lot of time on the video. The M's not too bad. If there was a way you could find this font, probably I would guess no. So I'm going to add a node right there and then take it like that. I'm going to add a node right there. I'm just making this look more like the original. I'm going to take, or hopefully the original, I'm going to take away some nodes. That's too much. Now we're going to take these two. And when you're working with nodes, if you get 2 handles, when you move one, you're going to move the other, but that evidently is already a cusp. I'm just trying to see, this is a control, so I'm going to right click on it and turn it into a cusp. And when I do that, only one handle will move. And then after you straighten everything out, like this has 2 nodes, that's probably pretty, well, it doesn't. So add a node right there. Maybe take these two. This could probably mess it up, turn it into a line, and it didn't. It was good. Maybe delete that node. There's one node in the center. And so add a node, and take that node away. Right click, turn this into a line. And you could take a little bit of time to work on this a little more. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but let's make it a little bit wider up top. And just kind of do the same thing on the M. See, I just deleted a node, and you don't really, I do the same thing I did to the top on the bottom. There's probably an extra node there that we could get rid of. Then I would really do these individually. And I'm going to make my contour a little bit bigger on this one. So to give some definitions, I'm going to go to effects and contour. I'm going to contour to the outside. I'm going to go 0.2. That might be too much. Let's go down to 0.1, 0.5. Now that looks good on that letter, but see, every mistake you have, the contour is going to multiply it. Like right there, you just have to back up. Because that node is like it is and pointed, we need to fix that. So we're going to go like right there and maybe curve that up a little bit. Get back to our pick tool. That doesn't look too bad. Now, what I'm going to do is select it all, go up to object and break the 6 objects apart. And I'm going to take the center part of the letters. I'm just hitting on the inside. I'm going to select them all. I'm going to fill them in with black. Then what we can do is group this together, Control G, and nudge it over there. Now you could just take away the lines, but since they're both 2 items, if you look, we got 2 objects. We're going to try front minus back. And what that did, that took away, and I would actually go up to object, break the curve apart, and take away that little bitty part. Then fill this in with black. And there's also another little bitty part we can look at in just a second. I'm going to nudge up and over and see the part. Yeah, I would fill that in. The separation from the letters, that's what I was saying. That part of the 5 didn't really matter anyway. But that, if you cleaned up the letters, or actually, unless it has to be that font, you know, if you could type out another font that's close, or just spend more time on that font, or clean this up. Like, let's make a duplicate of that. You know, to me, to clean it up, I always like doing it where you can see it in wireframe, basically. You know, make this edge flat. Let's just try something real quick. Let's just take a rectangle. And now when we do this, we're going to lose some roundness. And then take a 2-point line and hold down the control button. And then what I would do is take virtual segment delete key there and there. Don't worry about that little bitty tip. Take the Smart Fill tool. Yeah, that's what I wanted, but I need to cut away this line. See, that easily you made some adjustment to the M that's going to make it look really good. So now we take the Smart Fill tool and see how it's actually kind of square now. And you might not want that. Who knows? You know what the font is really supposed to look like. Let's take it a little bit further. Left click, right click. Let's put a little round edge on those items. Select it with a pick tool, or pick a shape tool, dockers, corners, and let's round it off 0.01. Let's see what happens. Look at that. Maybe that's even a little bit too much. Let's go 0.015. I don't think I backed up. 0.01. See, I'm just making a little bit. That looks pretty good. I don't know if we can do both at the same time, but yeah, doesn't that, I mean, that is going to really add to it. And then when we contour those, and you could do the same thing across the top on all the letters. Let's see what this looks like now when we contour it. Got the contour docker still open. Well, there it is. Contour to the outside. Look what it did to the contour. I mean, now you have perfect contoured lines versus what we had before. If you look at them side by side, I mean, look at that. Let me get a little bit closer. Let me go ahead and fill in that black. Look at the two difference in the bottom of the letters. You know, without, and you've still got their font. And you could do the exact same thing up top and bottom on all the letters. But this would actually work because your engraver will not engrave that white, and you can always double check with the yellow box trick, order back a page to make sure there's nothing back there. And as always, once you've done something like this, delete everything else on your page. And then hit F4 on your keyboard. And if only your logo shows up, that's all you have. You know, because if you've got a little tidbit somewhere and then group it together, and don't forget to run it sideways when you're doing a cup. Anyway, I hope that helped them a little bit. Thank you for watching.